Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today I have Michael Williams and his crew from the EarlyAct Club. Michael, tell us a little bit first about EarlyAct, what it's all about.
Sure. So EarlyAct evolved out of Interact, which is the high school, middle school version of Rotary, and focusing on service above self and realizing that should start a lot younger than before people get into the professional world.
Sure.
And with the world being what it is, we feel like it's important for as young as possible to start them learning empathy, conflict resolution, peace, and doing that through service above self activity.
Sure.
So when EarlyAct came into the picture about 6 years pre-COVID, right before COVID, we only had like one club in our entire district, and that just happened to be the one of the Wilson Morrison.
Right.
And then post-COVID, there was a huge push to add EarlyAct Clubs because we saw the importance of young people wanting to serve. And I don't think I did anything special, but we started with 20 kids at E. Wilson Morrison, and now we're up to 151.
Yeah.
It started 4th
People
and
love
5th.
doing good stuff. I think so. Don't they?
And what
absolutely.
happened was, we had some principals and some others that are good people, but they're busy, and they were like, I want to do this, but I don't know that our kids want it. I said, I got news for you. Your kids want it.
Right.
Build it and they will come.
Right.
And enter Ressie Jeffries when
Right.
we say, hey, look, I met Hailey at a new teacher orientation a few years ago, and I talked about EarlyAct. Hailey approaches me and says, hey, I'd like to do something like this at Ressie Jeffries. Well, it just so happened that one of my best friends, who's like the sister I never had, Kristen Pence, who's a member of my Rotary Club,
Right.
said, hey, my daughter goes to Ressie. And Tallulah had been coming to our EarlyAct Club at E. Wilson Morrison because they didn't have one at Ressie.
Right.
So we started one at Ressie with Hailey, who's also a member of our Rotary Club, and theirs is taken off. She can talk about their development, how they started and evolved. Now, if I get emotional, I apologize. We are the only public school system that I'm aware of anywhere. I know in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but I'm pretty confident anywhere that has an EarlyAct Club, an active EarlyAct Club in every single one of their elementary schools, with at least 5 elementary schools. Now, fortunately, the Front Royal Rotary Club sponsors a couple of those, LFK
Sure.
and Hilda J. Barber. But because we don't care who gets the credit,
Sure.
Hailey went over to LFK and helped a friend of hers get that one going. A friend of mine, Amy Moyer, from the Front Royal Club, who teaches at Hilda J. Barber,
Right.
helped get the one at AS Road started.
Right.
So we don't care who gets the credit. We care that kids have a chance to serve.
Sure.
And then the progression of that is from EarlyAct, hopefully to get them to go to the middle school level, where we now have an active Interact Club in both our middle school at Skyline Middle with Sarah Matthews, formerly Sarah Kinney, and Rebecca Ferguson, formerly Rebecca Webster. And so those are going wonderful. The challenge we have is the high schools because their schedules are crazy and
Sure.
whatnot. So after our recent Rotary Youth Leadership Assembly, a lot of our students who went to that said, listen, man, why don't we start a community-based Interact Club where we welcome kids from Skyline, from Warren County, the homeschool, the public school, kids in co-ops and whatnot,
Sure.
and let us start talking together and one another instead of talking about each other. Why don't we try something weird and talk to each other?
Yes, exactly.
And so they're taking that on themselves, and we're in the infant stages of that. But we're excited about it, and but it starts with EarlyAct, and I'm just excited to be part of a county that saw the need for that in their school systems.
Okay.
And the Rotary sponsors it. We're very proud of it, and I'll let them take it from here.
So why don't you introduce Hailey here to us?
Sure. So Hailey Chadwell is a 4th grade teacher at Ressie Jeffries Elementary School. She's also a member of the Rotary Club of Warren County. And Hailey, like I said, approached me after our new teacher orientation a few years ago and said, hey, tell me more about this EarlyAct stuff. So I invited her to a Rotary Club, to one of our meetings, and then we talked further. And we gave them the same money we give all of our other clubs,
Sure.
to help get going with supplies and whatnot. And Tallulah probably benefited the most from that, to be honest, because her mom would have to come pick her up from school, bring her over to my EarlyAct Club.
Right.
And so putting their money where their mouth is, Kristen, or Dr. Pence, became our club's additional representative to help Hailey run that club, because Hailey was a new member in our club, and
Sure.
they're trying to make sure she did things the way she wanted to do them. And Tallulah's been recruiting her friends for it, and I'll let them tell you how it's
Sure.
developed from there.
Well, Hailey, so now that Michael has given us a second to talk, so tell us about your club there at Ressie.
So I was approached by Nina Helmick, who was like, hey, I heard you wanted to start this EarlyAct Club.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. So I kind of did some research to see kind of what EarlyAct was about, because I was brand new to the whole system. I had no idea what kind of was getting myself into. So I saw a lot of the good things EarlyAct does, like nationwide, not just like our club. So I was like, okay. So we started off slow with like 22 kids. We're up to 67 kids, and this is just our second year doing this.
Right.
We do a community service project every month. If that's just simple as making cards to the nursing homes, to we did the Doc Smith program where we collected over 200 boxes of cookies. And our latest one was the Able Veterans Change Wars, and we did $718.
Wow, just amazing. What's just few little people together. And when they all come together, things get done.
We do grades 3 through 5, and at that age, they're really understanding what community service is, and they're ready to work. So they've done a really good job at getting their friends recruited, and just kind of, even their friends like, hey, I'm not really sure I want to do this, they're able to contribute to any of our community service
when one
projects.
sees success, people like to go where there's success. Why don't you introduce some of your little munchkins here?
This is Tallulah. She started our very first year. So she was in second grade, but because her mom is Dr. Pence, we went ahead and had her kind of as our honorary, like, younger one. And she's recruited all of her third grade friends, like Mason's her first year. So they helped us, and they're honestly one of the best representatives of EarlyAct, because they show kindness every day. They show community service every day. They show what it's true to be a friendship. They really do our 4-way test every single day that they come.
Well, Tallulah, tell me how do you say that?
Tallulah.
Tallulah. I know your mother, so I can imagine. Tell me again. Tallulah. All right. So tell us, what do you like about EarlyAct Clubs?
Well, helping community is the best part of EarlyAct, and I love it because you can make new friends and you can teach each other like about community service and different stuff about that.
Yeah.
And I've recruited like Mason, my friends like Dahlia and stuff like that. And basically now we're like this one big family.
All right. So it's a lot. It's kind of nice to have your family around. What do you think, Mason?
I think it's like about. I like it about.
That's all right.
I like it about because I get to do community service around the world and help other people, and I like to do that stuff. And I can help my friends, and I can hang out with my friends, and I don't have to get mad all the time, and it's like relaxing for me.
And you don't realize too that some of these little things you do in Front Royal help kids all around the world. Your little projects here goes to Africa and South America
and a good example,
and Virginia.
Yeah, and a good example of that is something that we did, and together our EarlyAct Clubs raised over $2,000 for the Adopt a Warrior program.
Right.
And I don't know the family. We don't need to know the family, but we do know that it helped a local veterans family avoid eviction over Christmas. And next year, we're hoping that all the EarlyAct Clubs will get in on that. But you had talked about around the world. We had the joy this Christmas season of doing a pen pal letter writing campaign with a school in Ghana, and just drawing the kids' favorite vegetables and which was none, and their favorite their
broccoli.
Yeah. Just something easy to draw.
their favorite meals and whatnot, and it was really cool to share a couple of words and Twi, that's the main language in Ghana, with them, and have them kind of understand the global aspect. We just planted these peace poles around the different schools, and Ressie has one, and we have one, and ours, I'll let Hailey and the
Hilda has one.
And Hilda has one, yes. And the languages at our school are, of course, English, which says, may peace prevail on earth. But we also have Hebrew, because we have a teacher who's Jewish. We have Pashto, because we have 2 students from Afghanistan, both are in EarlyAct. And then we have Spanish, because we have a huge Latino population. So it's kind of cool when parents show up to pick up their kids after club, whatever, and they look over and you just see them smile.
Yeah, it's great. So what are you going to do next year? Are you going to stay in EarlyAct with more of your friends? So how do you recruit them? What's your secret?
So basically, you have to talk to them and tell them about this, and you tell them about how it helps community and stuff. And basically what they do is they go home to their parents and they're like, can I please join EarlyAct? And then you talk to, and then like the next day you see like them coming over and you see them at EarlyAct.
And you see, you get this cool T-shirt too, right? Yeah.
You get some snacks too, don't you?
Well, yeah, well, I think it's always about the snacks.
It always is about the snacks. A Rice Krispie treat can get a kid to do anything.
I know, that's right. You learn that real quick, right?
Yeah.
But here's what's cool. Part of the snack thing is the Virginia Department of Education actually pays for that for us because we're Title I. But some of the food items are non-perishable, and if the children don't like them, we both. Do you all have a blessing box at Ressie?
Oh, we have one at St. Louis Public Library, so we can walk it down there.
we put the leftovers that are non-perishable in the blessing boxes. Next day they're gone.
Yeah. It goes up, share.
Yeah.
That's right. Part of community.
Because otherwise they're just going to be thrown away, and we're not.
We don't want to do that. We don't
No.
want to do that. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. You've learned a lot as a new teacher, I'm
I
sure.
have, yes.
How long have you been teaching?
So this is my 4th year.
All right. Still young.
Still young, but I love it. I will be a lifer at Warren County
that's-
Public Schools.
well, that's great.
Specifically Ressie Jeffries.
Yeah.
A little biased.
She won Teacher of the Year.
I did win Teacher of the Year.
Well,
She did
how
indeed for
about
Ressie.
that?
I'm very proud of her.
Well, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, she knew.
She did.
Is she? And she's not even in your class.
She's not. She's in 3rd grade. I
Next
teach
year.
Yes, next year I will steal Tallulah. I will steal Maison and Tallulah. We gotta keep the package together.
I think so. It's great. I think when you this is when you generate lifelong friends, and I'm sure we all have 2 or 3 that we've known all the way through school. So even when we're miles apart, we still have that bond that people that you met when you're very young, and then sometimes you don't see them for 10 years, and once you get back together, you pick right back up again.
That's what EarlyAct's all about, is kind
Yeah.
of building those relationships. Not only are we building kid relationships, but we're building kind of that community building relationship with
Sure.
adults, because
Yeah.
a lot of them have stepped up to help me. Like, we're doing the hygiene packet, so a lot of them said, how can I donate? So it's bringing all of us together, not
Yeah.
just the kids, but the adults as well.
That's our next big project is doing putting together the hygiene care packages. We did it last year as well, where just little soaps, little shampoos, hand sanitizers, things that you and I don't even think about.
Sure.
But people that might be using the Heart Shelter,
Sure.
or the Salvation Army, or come to our church and get the meals at night.
Sure.
And even some of the children in our schools.
Sure.
We give several to our nurses to be able to have for children.
Yeah, I don't think sometimes the community doesn't really realize that how many of our children get their meals at school.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what's kind of worried us this past week. And, I want people safe too. I want people safe
Sure.
too, but I want my kids back in school because I know for some of my kids, that's their main nutrition for the
Right.
week.
Right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming in and sharing this good news of
you.
EarlyAct, Maison, and Tallulah. How you say it again?
Tallulah.
I'm just kidding.
Michael,
Michael, well, we appreciate everything you do. Again, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.